Hello everybody and welcome to today's video. I had quite a few people asking me from my previous video that I've released on how to set up a video in Unreal Engine to use MegaLights and cast light and so on. I've had people asking, well, could we use this as a sort of like a smoke or a fire or something like that where we can see through it and be able to see the object behind it in the scene? And I've, basically said, yeah, you know what, I'm going to do a tutorial to show you guys how to do just that. So this is not actually a flipbook, this is a video playing right now, and it is casting light into the environment. As you can see, I mean, I think it's quite well grounded, and it only took me a couple of minutes to set up. Basically an export from Embergen of a fire like this on a on a black canvas. It's just fire on a black canvas. We're not using any alpha specific channel or anything like that. In the sense, we haven't exported the video with an alpha. We just simply are using the black as a sort of a mask to say where the fire shows up and not. And I'll show you exactly what the pitfalls are of this method and what are the advantages and disadvantages. But I hope you guys enjoy it. So let's delve into it, because I just want to show you the setup and how you can achieve it as well. Okay, so when we want to actually just look at the scene and just see how this functions, you'll notice this is just simply a plane, and it doesn't even use two-sided material. It's just on one side. You can only see it from here. But obviously you can see through it, which is great, okay? Now, there are a few pitfalls because of this. So in the outlier over here, you'll notice that we are using a two light sources. These are two rectangular shaped light sources. One of them is shining in this direction on the left side, and the other one is shining on the right side in that direction, because we want to make sure that our fire is casting light on both ends. Now, usually, if we select both of these lights, because in the previous video we didn't need to use a rectangular light in order to cast light. In this particular case, we do, and I'll show you why. Because if we turn this on to like 0, so we show no light from these sources, you'll notice that we actually don't cast any light in the scene, even though in a previous video we were able to do that with the video. So what is going on? Well, the whole point is in the material itself. So if we actually select this material, which I'm gonna struggle to do, let me just select the display fire. So that's the one there. It has a material. So if we double click the material, this material is extremely simple, and I'll show you right now. So what we're doing is we're using the texture, which is actually the actual fire animation. So if you watch my previous video, which I will link in the description below, you will know exactly how I set up this sequence. So I'm not going to go through that. Just have a look at that video, because it explains everything very quickly. But we have our fire here, and what we're doing is we are putting a bit of it in the base color. Then we're also multiplying by 0.3 in the emissive color, and we're also using the opacity. Now, if I disconnect the emissive color completely, it won't really affect anything right now. But if I disconnect the opacity, then we will not be able to see through the object anymore. So if I go, if I apply that, you'll notice right now we're not able to. Well, actually, we're not able to see anything, because you've effectively. Sorry, let me just show you why. If you disconnect this here and just say apply, you will now not be able to see behind, and you still can't see this fire casting any light. But here's the interesting bit. If we change this material from translucent to an opaque, whatever, and you press apply, then it's casting shadow. Oh, sorry, it's casting light. And if we press play, you'll notice that it's actually doing pretty decent job, but you can't see through it, okay? But it's casting light without these particular two lights here. So before we had these set to 5, so they were also casting light, and now they're set to 0, so you get no light from them, but you do get a light from the system itself. So it's very important that if you are able to get away without using a translucent material, then you don't need to use the rectangular light for this, thus saving on resources. But if you do want to see through it, then you want to make sure that this material is set over to translucent, and that you're using the RGBA. So if you have a video like mine, what is the video like? What is a video like mine? Well, a video like mine is a if we look at this here, it's MP Embergen video. If we double click it, actually, if we double click, we won't see anything. I need to double click the player. So I'm just going to select the player, double click it, and now I'm going to double click the Embergen fire. Ignore this alpha thing here. It's not, we're not using it. It doesn't work. Anyway, you'll notice what this video is all about. So it's basically just a fire on a black canvas. That's all it is, right? And what we're doing is we're basically taking the RGB alpha of this, so the entire thing. So if you just use the alpha, it won't work because there's no information in the alpha channel. But the RGB plus alpha is basically saying, well, I want you to look at the RGB within the scene, which is the fire, and I want you to run that through and use black as a mask where it doesn't show up. So, you know, I'm hoping I explained that okay. I'm hoping you understand what I mean. But basically, it's hiding the black of the canvas, right? And you can see through it. So we're putting that into opacity over here. I wouldn't recommend you switching this over to masked and then running it through opacity mask, because it will just look really rough. Now we are using a value of 5. Now the higher this value, the more of the black will show, right? But if we set this to like a 1, for example, and we apply, you'll notice that we don't really get a lot of definition on the fire. So you'll see here, you know, as we play, there's not that much fire anymore. Obviously, there's no light being casted, and that's because these two lights aren't on. So I'm going to turn those back on to 5. And you'll notice that if you're just doing that, if you're using a number 1 on the opacity, you're barely getting any fire. I mean, if that's the effect you're going for, that's fine. You can clearly see the objects behind, which is great, okay? But switching this over to a number 5 for me in this particular case is quite good. I'm just going to apply it. And look at that. I think it's quite okay, right? Now we can go further. We can increase that number even more. Just bear in mind that at some point the black will start showing up. So let's try a 10 and see what happens there, right? You can see it here in the material shader preview that the black is starting to show up. And now you can kind of see it, but you could argue that that's actually the smoke. But definitely you can see a bit of fuzziness there, right? Now, depending for what kind of effect you're going, this might be fine. You could add an extra layer here just for the smoke itself to be in tandem with the fire rather than just the fire itself alone, okay? But we're seeing through the object. Now, what's the, where's this shadow coming from right here? Because, it's not really natural, and sometimes you can't really get away from this sort of stuff. It's because we have these two rectangular lights here. If we disable them, you'll see that basically this shadow is formed right in between. And here's the thing. If you take this, for example, and you bring it back, you can effectively hide that, which is fine, but just bear in mind that this means that you are taking the light away from this cube. The only reason why I have this light here is to light up this cube, because if I turn it off, then that cube is pretty much in darkness, but there's a fire burning right beside it. So that's why I'm using this as sort of a fake system. And guys, do remember that if you want to support the platform, you can do so on Patreon, where you get access to all of my projects that I have for sale. So just for one subscription, you basically get everything. And also you can go to my website, 3D Project Masters, or my Unreal Engine marketplace, and purchase any of my projects if you'd like to support the channel. But let's get back to the tutorial. Now, also very important, and you will know this from the previous video if you saw it, where I set up the video, is that you can drop the same source texture in here into this light, this rectangular light. So this texture that's being created for the media player when you import the video. Again, watch the previous video, you'll get it. It's honestly very easy, very simple, right? Once you do that, you will be able to replicate the same texture play that the mesh is doing, as well as the rectangular lights. And this is allowing you to really, see that effect. Now, there are some other caveats here to take into account. Like, for example, if you select this cube and you bring it closer to that rectangular light that we have there, you'll notice that you are going to start seeing some artifacting on the cube. And this is to do with the resolution of the light. I definitely wouldn't try to put objects so close to it, because as you can see, it's not looking that great, and it might not be very apparent right now, but trust me, it will be a lot more apparent if we switch this over to like a 5 here and press apply and then press play here. You'll notice that we are getting quite a bit of artifacting of the light on the actual cube. It's not really nice, so I definitely would keep surfaces like this away. It's when you have two rectangular lights, one next to the other. Now you could place a car here, you could place all sorts of things, and I think it would work quite nicely. I'm just gonna make this ball a little bit, this sphere a little bit bigger. I'm just gonna put it somewhere like that, and you can see there what sort of effect we're getting. Obviously, this is not amazing in the sense of you're not getting those actual more volumetric sort of shadows being casted and so on. It's not exactly really, it's not really working that in that way, because this is not I mean, in theory it should, like, if we bring it over here, we should be able to start seeing a shadow forming. Don't get me wrong, you can sort of see it there, and if I make this bigger and maybe like that, you can see how it's sort of doing the shadow casting properly. And maybe if I take another one and this time just really make it, quite thin and long or something like that, I don't know, just trying to create a bit of a bar here, the way that these lights will function will, sort of like, it's sort of accurate, but I wouldn't say it's exactly the same as just having lights bouncing off light around. I mean, we do have rectangular lights, so in theory we do have the proper lights in. It's just not reacting in the way that rectangular lights would normally react, I would say. Let me just try and thicken this a little bit. I think that's a lot better now. Now, one thing that I also want to do for this particular thing is I want to have a look and see, MegaLights, right? MegaLights are on here. But what happens if we disable them? So you'll notice with disabling MegaLights, we get the actual shadows that we're more expecting of, or more akin to how Unreal Engine functions. It's not 5.5. Now, bear in mind, this entire setup works in 5.0, 5.1, so on. But 5.5 has these MegaLights, which will give us more performance. So I don't even think right now there'll be any performance gain if we do, increase the, the performance right now is 9 ms. If we turn this on, it's like 12, 13 or something like that. Now, if I go into post-process and enable MegaLights again, it's dropped down a little bit, so I think it's better. Seems to be about the same. But are the shadows performing more how they should? I'm not sure. I'm gonna leave that to you. I think they do. I don't know. It's a bit odd because the shadows in the previous version without MegaLights, it looks a bit rough, in the sense of there's clearly some issues there with how it's being formed, and you can see here like these edges, which are very odd, but you turn MegaLights on and that's kind of eliminated. Obviously, we can toy around with lights even more. There's a lot of quality settings in here that you could play around with in the lumen, the global illumination in here, so you could play around with a lot of this stuff. But since the only reason why none of this matters, like you could play around with the lumen stuff, it won't really affect anything because MegaLights apply only to local lights. It doesn't apply to directional lights, so it won't matter what you do to the lumen settings, right? There are other settings that you can go around and try and push forward, or console commands to get better shadows and better lights, even with MegaLights, but it's just not going to be something that's straightforward, let's say. But I think that's it for this video, really. That's all I wanted to show you. Watch my previous video to know how to set up the video. This in particular is very simple. If you have a video hanging about like this, you can actually, drop it in and do it. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to drop this scene for you guys to use for free. I'm going to put it on my Patreon. You guys can just get it from there and just play around with it if you'd like. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you learned something. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you did. Watch my other videos, and if you want to support me for the price of a coffee, you can get all my projects from Patreon as well. So, feel free to have a look at that. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.